Nintendo finally announced the Switch 2 and, surprise, it's way too expensive, missing stuff we do want, and it has stuff we never asked for. But hey, that's tradition at this point, right?
It's tradition.
Before you throw your money at your screen and mash that pre-order button, here's why you might want to wait. First off, Nintendo is launching the Switch 2 in spring 2025, which is pretty weird timing, until you realize that they're likely doing that so that they can see how the thing sells, and then if things are tanking, then they can adjust the price for a holiday relaunch for Christmas, which they've totally done before. The Wii U got a $50 price decrease in the first year after slow sales, and the poor GameCube, which launched later than the PS2, started at $199 and then had to get dropped to $149 within its first year, and then a measly $99 not long after. The bright side is I'm pretty sure my parents bought our GameCube for $99 at that final price, so good job, fam. All that said, the first reason not to pre-order the Switch 2 is because if this thing doesn't fly off the shelves like Nintendo wants, it'll very likely be price dropped before Christmas 2025. The second reason is that Nintendo is definitely overbuilding the Switch 2 a bit, as we saw with the mouse mode feature that really no one asked for.
I will send it back.
I'm sure there'll be some cool applications for this, but considering that the Legion Go had this feature announced last year and everyone was kind of like, alright, I'm not sure why Nintendo was jumping at doing that themselves. It's kind of like the IR sensor they had in the Joy-Cons on the original Switch, which also hardly anyone used and no one really asked for. If Nintendo were to drop features like that, that would lower the price of manufacturing for the Switch itself, making the overall console price lower and making the overall console more appealing. So when there's inevitably a Switch 2S or Switch 2 Lite or Switch 2 OLED, I wouldn't be surprised if they just drop that feature if they notice that devs aren't really building games for that. Reason 3 is you shouldn't have to re-buy HD versions of games you already freaking own. There are people out there who have bought games like Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8, New Super Mario Bros. U, and not just bought those games once, but on the Wii U and the Switch, and now they're expected to buy them for a third time on the Switch 2 for the HD upgrade. That's 3 games on 3 systems? If we already own these games, the HD upgrades should be free. Period. Sony does it, Xbox does it, and PC gaming is just called install Steam on whatever the new computer is you have. Come on, Nintendo. Loyalty goes both ways. Reason number 4 is, where's the free game? Everyone knows the Wii had Wii Sports. It was fun, it showed off the console, everyone got it, it was super approachable, my grandpa was playing Wii Sports. And I'm not even talking about the Switch 2 Welcome Tour game and making that free. That's not even a question, that should be free. That's their equivalent of the PS5 Astro Bundle-In game that shows off what the cool new controller and the console can do with graphics and all that. That should 1000% just be already installed and free as a like, hey, try out your new Switch 2, congrats on your new purchase. I'm saying there should be an actual bundle-in game that you would actually play and come back to. You talk to almost any millennial today and they'll wax nostalgic about Wii Boxing, Wii Bowling, even Wii Baseball or Wii Tennis. Like, they were pretty simple games, but they were addictive, they were fun, and they were a great way to experience your new console and share it with friends and family who were stopping by, and then they would want to go and get their own Wii to enjoy that in their house and make their grandpa play Wii Bowling. Honestly, if they just take over the rights to Switch Sports and put Mii's back and then bundle that with the Switch 2 after upscaling it, then we'd be good. I'd be a happy camper. I guess it doesn't have to be a sports game, but let me know in the comments what you would want bundled with the Switch 2. Reason not to pre-order number 5, I think I'm on, is on top of all that, apparently they haven't even addressed people's hugest complaint about the Switch, which is JoyCon Drift. In recent news, it looks like they haven't directly addressed that issue, but in response to the tariffs, they're raising the price of all Switch 2 accessories to offset that so they don't have to touch the console price. But what that means is now we're gonna be paying more money for Joy-Cons that still can have JoyCon Drift, which means that those Joy-Cons are inevitably going to be your guest Joy-Cons, because down the line, if Nintendo doesn't address the issue of JoyCon Drift, we're just gonna buy better third-party controllers that have Hall effect joysticks and mechanical buttons and all that good stuff. Now with all that said, let's talk about the price of games. And this is where it's gonna be a bit of a hot take, so hear me out here. But I think Nintendo can have their $80 games for a few reasons. The first is that the original Switch ran for a number of years, and so they're probably trying to set a price that they can keep consistent throughout the lifespan of the Switch 2, and based on the way inflation is going and all of that, $80 per game sounds like it's coming down the pipe, like we saw that with the upcoming GTA 6, and other game prices are kind of been inching up there over the last few years, so they're probably just trying to set it and then keep it there so that consumers can kind of rip the band-aid off and then get used to it, which sucks, but I guess that's just economics. But don't worry, I have a better reason than that. The bigger reason why I'm okay if they keep the $80 game prices is if, while charging $80 for games, they would cut the cost dramatically of the Switch 2 and then sell it at a loss and then recoup the cost of it through those extra margins on games over time, which is totally precedented in the console industry. Like the PS3 came out in 2006 and didn't turn a profit until 2010, which of course I'm sure Sony didn't love not turning a profit until 4 years later, but they were a strong contender in the console race. They stayed in the race, and now flash forward 2 console generations and the PS5 is destroying Xbox Series X and S sales, largely attributed to Sony playing that long game of let's get consoles in houses, which means that Sony was personally invested in there being good games available for the console, because over that long game is how they made their money back. And of all the console manufacturers, Nintendo has the most solid IP between Smash Bros and Pokemon and anything Mario and anything Donkey Kong and anything Metroid and anything Zelda. It's a pretty safe bet that they're gonna get a lot of game sales for this console, and yet they're still trying to sell the console high and then sell the games high, and that combo just doesn't feel right. So in conclusion, Nintendo is counting on your nostalgia and FOMO.
It's a trap!
But if we all wait, we send a clear message: cut the gimmicks, respect our libraries, make this thing more affordable. And hey, you might just save $50 and get a free game in the process. Nintendo has made these same mistakes before, and early adopters have always paid the price, literally. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with my thesis on this, or are you running out to hit that pre-order button as soon as it arrives in your email? I'm all ears, so let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and if you like this video, you'll probably like my 90-day Wii Fit challenge I did recently, which was interesting.